You can see, I haven't been awake for too long and I look like a mess. Unfortunately, I can't get to my PC, but I really wanted to talk about this whole PSA and Ludkin situation, especially because it affects me directly. So, if anyone doesn't know, Ludkin's Collectibles were a middleman service, and they ran for quite some time, for quite a few years, as a kind of a UK-based middleman service. They also opened a space in the US as well eventually. But basically, they were probably the most popular grading middleman alongside Grady Gem, for UK Europe to grade with PSA. As of recently, they partnered with PSA and renamed and rebranded as PSA Card UK. You can kind of find that account, which was the previously obviously Ludkins, on Instagram, so you can check that out if you're interested. And obviously, this partnership with PSA made them kind of an official, probably the first official kind of UK European based middleman service. But till last night, PSA have now announced, and again, check this out on Instagram. They've announced that they've ended this partnership, and that is most likely due to the fact that Ludkins have not been paying for the orders that they have submitted. So the main problem lies with the fact that Ludkins have sent out submissions, and these are submissions that they sent out as Ludkins back in 2020, 2021, as well as the new rebrand of PSA Card UK, who I managed to submit with in August. So they've sent out those submissions, PSA have graded them, and then now Ludkins are basically refusing to pay for those submissions. So those submissions are basically in limbo with PSA, and Ludkins, I call them Ludkins again, you can call them PSA Card UK, whatever you want, have taken people's money, including myself, but for whatever reason, they are refusing to pay PSA, and now PSA have obviously come out and said they've ended that partnership and they're looking to return people's orders to them directly, as obviously it looks like they're not going to be getting the money from Ludkins. Sounds like a good move on PSA's behalf, but I think people are forgetting that this obviously has been ongoing for some time, yet it was only recently, I think it would have been July, August, around the middle end of summer, that PSA then became an official partner with Ludkins. So did PSA actually do this knowing full well there were still orders, back orders that Ludkins hadn't actually fulfilled and paid for? So, to me, it sounds like PSA made a very, very big mistake authorizing and authenticating and, creating this partnership with Ludkins to say, hey, they're now official PSA Card UK, whatever you want to call it. And at the same time, they actually hadn't received the payment for the previous orders that were probably still sat there. So PSA coming out now and saying, oh, well, we're going to try and make it right. We're going to try and return orders to customers. Well, it sounds like they messed up to begin with by authorizing and authenticating them as a partner, authenticating Ludkins as a partner, even though they hadn't paid for their customers' previous submissions. So it's all a bit of a mess at the moment. If you are in a similar situation to myself, what you can do is if you go on PSA's Instagram, they have a link tree. The first link on that link tree is for a submission form, and you basically have to give details of your submission at the time. I hope you have the kind of details and information, emails and so on and so forth. I found it tough well, not tough, but I actually had to kind of scour through my emails to find those, and mine was only a few months ago. So, if you have anything from 2021 and 2020, because those orders are more orders that are kind of stuck here in limbo, I hope you are able to find those details and get them submitted. So definitely do that, because PSA, I'm quite sure will be able to help you once you get those details sent over. Similar to kind of the Marks Collectibles, if anyone doesn't know, they did something similar where they submitted many orders. Again, kind of a reliable, reputable middleman service, although they were based in the US and they focus on sports. But it's a good story. I think it's an interesting story. What they did, I think the owner of Marks, I can't recall his name, but I'm pretty sure he invested the money into something. I don't know whether it was like some kind of index, some kind of stock, whatever it was. So basically, he lost money and then was unable to pay his customers or fees with PSA. So again, PSA graded the cards, and he was sat there saying, well, I can't afford to pay them now because I've actually lost all my customers' money. Just completely irresponsible behavior in that behalf. And I don't know if Ludkins have done something similar. I don't know if they thought it was a good idea, hey, we'll pick up some meta stock, and then it obviously dived 50%, and they're sat here like, oh well, we can't afford to pay because of whatever reason. Obviously I'm just being facetious, but the point is, Ludkins have screwed over their customers, and PSA is certainly to blame, to continue to kind of have that relationship with Ludkins and allow that to continue, and not kind of warn customers like myself. So we're just going to have to wait and see. I'm sure PSA will actually manage to get some cards returned, because they did and have been doing it for people who suffered from kind of that Marks card collapse as well. So that's, I'm sure, going to happen. Just going to take a significant amount of time. And to be honest, personally, my experience with PSA Card UK at least was fine, was okay at the time. They were responsive on Instagram. Didn't have a website set up, so they just had kind of like a dodgy submission service. And to be honest, that should have been an indicator for myself and other people, but unfortunately, it was Ludkins. Everyone knew them. They were one of the biggest and most kind of like reliable services for years going back. So it's just a shame that Barney Ludkins, the owner of Ludkins Collectibles, decided to be a dick now, basically, and refused to pay for those grading services that he advertised and offered. So yeah, basically that's about it. So if you're in a similar situation to me, please let me know in the comments and see. Maybe we can share some additional information that might be helpful. And again, as I said, make sure to check out PSA's Instagram page. You can kind of keep up the news there, and if you do have a submission that you're waiting for, definitely submit on the submission page and see if you can get PSA to help. But thanks for checking out the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.